Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. Today, my goal is to talk about the 10 characters that I'm the most excited to see getting added to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. So for number 10, we've got Alito. Alito is coming out next month, it's already been confirmed. That's why he's number 10, because don't have a whole lot of time to get hyped. Alito is a villain from Zexal, but he's like a kind of like friendly rival villain. He's really aggressive, but he's also really fun and interesting, and Yuma tries his best to save Alito from the darkness that's possessing him. Won't go into too many spoilers, but Alito and Yuma are good friends by the end of the series. Battle Boxers are already mostly in the game. Comet Cestus and Star Cestus have to be added. There are some new support cards, which came out last year in the OCG. They're probably not going to be added to Duel Links for a while, but the Battle Boxer archetype is definitely a lot better now than it was before. Number 9 is Emma Basho from Brains. She uses Altergeist monsters, with her ace monster being Altergeist Hextia. Altergeist monsters are Link spellcaster monsters that focus around using trap cards. They have several trap cards, both continuous traps and normal traps, that allow them to control the board, and they recycle through their deck and special summon, returning monsters to their hand with their Altergeist Multifaker. Her ace monster is Altergeist Hextia, which is a Link monster, Link 2, that gains attack points equal to the attack points of the Altergeist it points to, and can tribute an Altergeist monster to negate a spell or trap activation, as long as it points to that monster. It only has one arrow that it can point to a monster, but if you can summon multiple Altergeists to the zone it points to during the same turn, you can get multiple spell and trap negates, because the negate tribute is not once per turn. She's a fun character. She's a treasure hunter. I'm looking forward to seeing her. Number 8 is Steiner Gregor from 5Ds. Most of Gregor's cards are already in the game. We have all of the Flying Fortress cards, but his ace monster, Earthbound Immortal Chaku Chalua, is still not in the game, so there's still a chance that Gregor gets added at some point. The main reason I picked Gregor here is because he's the character that had the most screen time. He was shown before and after his Dark Steiner change. He is a very sympathetic character. He's trying his best to defend his homeland, then he gets tricked by Rex Goodwin and Roman Goodwin. He fights hard against Crow, trying to take revenge on Yusei. Very interesting character, which I would love to see. Number 7 is Siegfried Von Schroeder from the original anime. Siegfried is the least likely to come to Duel Links, sadly, because his character is from a filler arc, but I can't shake the love I have for Siegfried. He is cocky, he is arrogant, he looks fabulous. In the original anime, with the Japanese audio, whenever he activates his spell, Ride of the Valkyries, the score from the German play, Ride of the Valkyries, plays in the background, that's a really popular, well-known song. If you don't know what I'm talking about just from the name, look it up on YouTube. That is a song you have heard before. And it's actually pretty amazing that it gets played in the anime. His ace monster, Valkyrie Brunhilde, is already in the game, but Ride of the Valkyries and Mischief of the Time Goddess could be his level ups, and we could get a skill that mimics his 3 goddess continuous spells, maybe a skill that just, like, as long as you control a Valkyrie, at the beginning of your turn, banish the top card of your opponent's deck. Something like that. I like the character, would love to see him. Number 6, RoboP from Reigns. So this is one of the characters on the list who I don't necessarily have a fondness for the character itself, but I love the idea of the deck. Appliancers are Link 1 monsters that focus on co-linking and not linking. So it's a deck where the arrows really, really matter. And because they're all Link 1s and Link 2s, it doesn't really matter that we have a 3-space board. You're not missing too many arrows from Appliancer monsters like you are with Link 3 monsters. You want to put Appliancer Celtopus in the extra monster zone, and that way you can use its 2 arrows to link into your more powerful monsters like Appliancer Vacuum Elephant and Appliancer Laundry Dragon. Character is still interesting. I'm sure that people will like to see him, but the deck is what I'm really excited about seeing in Duel Links, because I think it'd be really good. Number 5 is Nistro from Zexal. I love Nistro. He is the highlight of Zexal. He's basically the best character in the World Duel Carnival arc, and he continues to be relevant afterwards. He's an exuberant, fiery spirit. He plays really well off of Yuma's natural personality. His deck is actually really solid, and we have some of the cards in Duel Links, but we don't have any of the good cards besides Kusanagi, which is only okay in Duel Links. We do have Excalibur already. Excalibur is, in a 4,000 life point format, Excalibur is fine. But there are some better heroic cards that we could see. Cards like Klevolesh or like number 86 Heroic Champion Rangaminiad. I don't think that card's going to be added, but I am excited to see Nistro get added just because his voice, his lines, his fire is what we need in Duel Links. We need more excited characters for this game. Number 4 is Vector, also from Zexal. Vector is probably the most interesting villain in the entire series of anime. He is a character that is solely out for himself, and he betrays everyone around him. He betrays the other Baryons, he betrays Don Thousand, he betrays Yuma, he betrays Nash and Marin. Like, the list goes on and on and on, this guy. And yet somehow Zexal decides to redeem him at the end of the anime. I don't agree with that, but the character is very interesting. I imagine his lines will be both cold and at some points crazy or psychotic, which is interesting. I like this character. He's very similar to Yubel, and Yubel is a very good character in Duel Links, so I do want to see him get added. I don't think his deck is going to bring that much to the game, but I do think that the character will be fun. Number 3 is Nash, also from Zexal. Nash is the leader of the Baryons, and his ace monster, number 101 Silent Honor Arc, is probably one of the strongest in the Zexal era because it can detach 2 materials to take a monster on the field and equip it as a material. Taking a monster as an overlay unit is extremely powerful removal because it means that it's not in the graveyard, it's not banished, it's not returned to hand or to deck. Your opponent loses access to it while it is one of your overlay units. So it is the best way to make sure that the card can no longer be a resource at all for your opponent, while also removing it from the field. Nash does also bring cards like Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, and other 7s cards, which are pretty cool. We could probably also see Baryon Untopia with Nash. So I think that when Nash comes, the 7s archetype is going to really start coming into Duel Links, maybe not all at once, but that will be when we can play all of the other Emperors as they are intended to be played, with this archetype that is designed around their number over 100 cards. Number 2 is Rin from Arc 5, and Rin is a character that I'm really looking forward to. She's obviously the best friend of Yugo, who is the character that I like to play the most in Duel Links. Her archetype is Wind Witch, and Wind Witch is an archetype that is Wind Spellcaster Synchro deck that focuses on burn damage. And really, we need more burn decks in Duel Links. The only burn deck that's really effective right now is Trickstars, but Wind Witch is kind of a deck that burns faster than Trickstars do. Trickstars are very consistent, small burn, but even if you have the damage from Wind Witch, it's still a deck where you could reasonably burn your opponent to 0 in just a turn or 2. It is possible to do some shenanigans in OTK with Trickstars right now, but the natural burn flow of Wind Witch feels better, in my opinion. The Synchro monsters are also pretty cool. You have Winter Bell and Diamond Bell, which can both burn, and then Diamond Bell also has an effect where if your opponent takes burn damage, you can destroy a card on their field, and that's on either player's turn, and it is up to twice per turn. People aren't prepared for a twice per turn effect usually, so you don't read the card, you get punished. That's going to be a fun interaction. I'm going to enjoy playing it, and of course they are also very easy to combine with Speed Roots. Not with the Clearing Acceleration skill though. And finally, we have at number 1, Lulu Obsidian, also from Arc 5. Lulu is a fine character. You know, I don't have many problems with Lulu as a character. She and Rin did not get that much screen time. Mostly they were brainwashed by the parasites. But Assembled Nightingale and the Lyreless deck is one of my favorites. It's probably my favorite Xyz archetype because I like the idea of taking small monsters and making them into something big. Lyreless is a series of rank 1 and level 1 winged beast monsters, and all of the main deck monsters are terrible. They all have 0 or 100 attack points, but they all have benefits to swarming the board and improving the power of the Xyz monster they are attached to. And Lyrelisk Assembled Nightingale is a rank 1 that can have as many level 1 monsters attached to it as possible, and it has 0 attack points, but it gains 200 attack points and an additional attack for each overlay unit that it has. So if you have 5 overlay units on Lyrelisk Assembled Nightingale, it has 1,000 attack points, and it can attack 5 times. And it can attack your opponent directly. So it's going to be difficult with the 3 board spaces, but there's only 5 Lyrelisk monsters, and that's what really frustrates me. They haven't printed enough main deck monsters for the deck to really feel as consistent as it should, but in a 20-card list, that's going to change. even if we only have 4 cards to start with. I feel like with a 20 card list, we are going to be able to play Lyrilusc with great consistency. Because there's only, if you run 3 of every Lyrilusc monster, that's 15 out of your 20 cards. And I do think that is going to be the deck. I know people are going to be like, but you need spells and traps to survive. No, not at all. Let yourself lose going first. Trust me, you will always kill them going second. So I do think that Lyrilusc is going to be a fun deck. I'm really excited to see it. I'm really hoping that they bring Lulu out next year, 2024. Please, fingers crossed. We'll have to see. Probably going to be the last one added. I'm guessing it's going to be Yuri next, then Ren, then Lulu. But we did get 3 characters from Arc 5 this year, so maybe we'll get 3 characters from Arc 5 next year. Fingers crossed. Who are your favorites? Let me know in the comments below. This is Sarafi. I was thrilled to have you all with me.